Okay, so I am making this next video just to talk about some more anamorphic photography stuff. So I have had two more pictures that I've taken quite a few since then, but two more that I liked enough to want to talk about here. So I kind of had this thing come to mind, um, I guess a month ago or so. Let's try and recreate maybe some scenes from movies. Or if not that, just kind of take inspiration from a particular shot from a movie or a video game and recreate it on a limited or no budget. So that's what I did. The first one that I wanted to go over was this shot from No Country for Old Men. Near the beginning of the movie, there is this guy who he kills this police officer while wearing handcuffs, and it's like very intense. But he kind of like chokes him out, but the metal against his wrists, it kind of like digs into his wrists or whatever. And so afterward, the scene is that he goes, I guess, into the bathroom to wash his hands, and the camera transitions to this over the head shot, which I just thought was really neat. I guess that's what drew me to it. And I thought to myself, but then he's like washing his bloodied up hands and wrists in the sink. But I thought, like, how can I recreate that with like really no equipment? Because I don't have any kind of professional equipment or lighting or anything that I own. So I just like trying to puzzle through, like, how could I do that? And so I thought, well, I've got my bathroom here where I live, and I got a shower curtain rod, and the walls are just so in my bathroom that it's one of those ones where you like twist it and then it extends out, and you twist it to hold it against the walls. And so I put that above my sink. And I also recently got one of those bendy little squatty short tripods with like the bendy knuckled legs, and you can wrap it around stuff. And so that's what I did. I had the shower curtain rod up above my sink, and then I just wrapped the tripod legs, the bendy ones, around that. And it was pretty precarious, because if you've ever, you try to put a shower curtain up, you twist the things to lock it in place. Chances are you've probably had it slip and fall, and you had to, catch it. And so I kept thinking, like, what if that happens with my camera? But I really twisted it as hard as I could to make it firmly up there. But anyway, that was the setup behind all of it. And so here's the shot that I was able to get with it. And I'm definitely pleased with it. It's not perfect. I wasn't trying to go for like a one-for-one type of shot. I didn't get the color correct in comparison with the original. I didn't have my fingers here, you'll see, are kind of, faux bloodied up. I didn't have any kind of like makeup to do at my wrists or any fake blood to put in the sink or whatever. I didn't have any handcuffs like in the original shot, but even so, it was just fun to puzzle through how could I do this? And that's what I enjoyed most, was just making that happen, like really having to think and the fun of puzzling that out. So anyway, my fingers and knuckles, you'll notice they are pretty red in the photo. It's because I noticed in post-production when I opened it in Photoshop, the picture, that my fingers and knuckles were already kind of reddish anyway, and so I just selected them, and then instead of maybe more pink, I pushed it more to the red side, and I just increased the saturation on it, and so I sort of got a little cheat, a little pass. It looked more or less, reddish, or like they had been bloodied or whatever. I thought about buying like a cheap Crayola washable markers and going around my wrists and to just give the appearance of like a really crappy makeup of like like the guy in the original photo, his wrists are all beat up. But I just thought, just send it. It'll probably be fine, and it was fun. I think that was the most important thing. So that was that one, really enjoyable. That encouraged me to go and try again with something else. This time I went with a kind of idea, not necessarily a scene, from a video game that I started playing. So there's this game called Alan Wake 2, And in part, in it, you play this FBI investigator, and you're trying to, figure out the series of murders and like who done it kind of elements. And it's a spooky game for sure. And you're trying to figure out who these people are, these cultists and whatnot. And you're very vulnerable as the detective investigating all this. And you're out in the woods and whatever. And they make the point of telling you in the game that to help you, which, me as the player, keep track of all the clues and all the elements and basically all of the who, what, why, where, and when type of stuff. There's this place you can go to in the game called the Mind Place. And it's just a physical representation of the character you're playing as, of her mind. So you can see all the different like people involved in the case maybe, and you can re-listen to old dialogue that you had with these characters or whatever. It's all there to help you keep track as the player. But it's neat though, because they do tell you, you can just push one button on the controller and go there, the Mind Place, and sort of see, brief yourself again on the different clues and whatnot. But they make the point in the game of telling you, like, don't just do that anywhere. If you're in like a tight spot and there's, enemies around or whatever, don't just do that, because your character in the game is vulnerable. They're just standing there in the world while you're, navigating her thought in her head, briefing yourself on the clues. But so make sure you're in a safe spot when you do that, because you're vulnerable. You could get attacked or something. And so I had all that to say. I had this idea, and two, the Mind Place, when you're looking at all the clues in the case, it's got a lot of the detective tropes. It in particular has the case board where there's the wall with all the photos on it of like who might be involved, and there's notes and pictures, and the pins on each one with the red string attaching to each of them. So just like a classic detective imagery, right? And so based on all of this that I just told you, what I had in mind for a photo, what came to me was, I thought like, well, like in the game, they make the point of telling you, you could be in your head and your thoughts trying to solve the case and putting the details together, but you're still vulnerable. And so for a photo, I thought, well, what if I had like a detective looking kind of case board set up, and it's like me in the photo, looking at the case, trying to solve it and whatnot. And then what if the killer, who I'm trying to track and do, solve the case for, just lets themselves in the room. They walk in the room, open the door, and there I am, like face to face with, whoever it is. And a little bit of the backstory for the idea of the photo. And then it would be me, like stunned, standing there, it's the killer. And then I, as the detective in the photo, I'd draw my gun and, and look stunned and scared. And so that was the idea, and it was really fun to work on. And so this is the final result. This is what I came up with. And you can see I also did all of the basic tropes and whatnot. I had various photos and documents and, sticky notes, and I got the red string and the dramatic top lighting and whatnot. And so it was really enjoyable just kind of going on Pinterest and basically just typing in like detective case board or something like that, and just seeing everything that was there and recreating that. And all the photos that are there are pictures that I've taken in the past of just family or friends, or like old cars I thought were cool. One of them was a park map. There was a park I went to earlier in that day, and I took a map and I just, I circled on it with highlighter and whatever. So it was fun stringing all of that together. Quite literally with the red string too. So it was enjoyable. However, I did take another version of that photo. That one that you just saw. This one here. So this was my original vision for the photo. I made an alternate version of it though, without the gun, because I kind of thought like, I don't want people to get the wrong idea of like, I like sharing the photos I take on my Facebook every now and then, the ones that I'm really proud of, and I didn't want to give the wrong impression to people who maybe saw the photo. Like, even though I put a colorful description along with it, I'm, acting in this thing. And, so I just decided to take this second version of the photo here. And obviously I have omitted the gun part because I just didn't want anything inflammatory to arise. I don't know. People worried about me, like, why do you have a gun? Or, maybe it was just inappropriate type of imagery. I don't know. So I thought, let me just bypass all that and I'll take this safer version of me just standing there trying to solve the case, that type of thing. Another detail to note before I forget, I always wear a black jacket, and I tried this photo first with a black jacket, and I thought, ugh, no, it just doesn't match at all. Not the right color palette. So I dug out my like super chunky brown one here that I'm wearing in the photo in both versions. I felt like it fit the color palette way better. Also, I ended up wearing a button-up, and I put on a tie because I thought, like, let me try and dress and look like the part, look like a detective. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna like spend like $15 or something buying like a fake police jacket or something off of Amazon or whatever. No, let me just put on like a button-up and a tie and at least try and look the part in that way. And I was so disappointed, I will say, in the final photos. I took a lot. They're all the same. You can't really tell that I had any of that on. I just sort of look like a guy in a brown jacket. It's not necessarily particularly detective-like. So that was disappointing, but it is what it is. It was still fun to work on. It's just the lighting, the shadows were cast right there. And I was working with a limited setup. I had this RGB light I was able to buy Velcroed to a microphone stand that I was able to borrow, propped up on my couch, partially on a chair. I mean, it was hood, and in the photo it looks like I'm standing, but I'm not. I was actually sitting in a chair because I had to be sitting so that top light was far enough from my head. It wasn't like, right here. I wanted it a little bit higher, so I sat, even though it has the appearance that I'm standing. I was like trying to think, like, how can I make this work in my little apartment here? So that was fun. Just again, like with the first photo I showed you in the No Country for Old Men one, the hand in the sink one, it was fun puzzling out, like, how can I try and make this vision happen with limited to no equipment or whatever. So I was really pleased with them. And I'm hoping to do more of these kinds of things, whether they turn out perfect or not. It's more just like the journey of it and the fun of puzzling out how to make them happen. I did try another one from Blade Runner 2049. It didn't really turn out very well. I pretty quickly realized that one, and that's okay. I am comforted somewhat by the fact that I did get this photo years ago. I was inspired by the same movie. And this one did turn out very well. Tried to recreate it with my anamorphic lens. It's not happening. Not with the limited stuff I have in my house anyway nowadays. But that's that. Those are the two I'll mention for now. Hoping I can make more in the future. There's a scene from Gladiator I just saw the other day that I thought, So we'll see if I can pull that off. But that's it for now. And I will see you the next time.